there's always been this common thread, I think, with him about empowering people and this desire that he has to help people reach their potential, human potential. You saw it through whether it was through education or through entrepreneurship and now through democracy. It's incredible to see that sort of evolution and where he's taken it, because this has always been, I would say, his passion, his interest. And to see it now, because of his experiences, take it to where we are today and what he's doing today. I definitely see how it happened. It didn't come out of nowhere. Yeah.
I mean, even his stint in corporate law, like he was at a pretty white shoe firm that a lot of people would, kind of fall all over themselves to get a job at. So he's at this high flying law firm, doesn't stay a long time. And that's not like a resume maximizing move, right? So when you guys met, had he already moved on and done the startup thing, or?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you've known that he sort of takes sometimes unconventional paths.
I did. And I loved that about him when I met him. He was doing something very different. In New York City, what you find a lot is people in finance, people in marketing, media, but startups not as much, especially at the time. So I was definitely intrigued and impressed with how risk-taking he was and his entrepreneurial spirit. And it was clear to me that he was in pursuit of something other than money, frankly. Yeah. I think when we started dating, I made more than him. And he was very, and I appreciated this about him too. You're talking about how smooth or not smooth he was. He was living in his mother's apartment in Manhattan, and I remember the first time I saw his apartment, he was very quick to tell me, "This is not my apartment. This is my parents' apartment." And I was like, "Oh, well, great." Sharing that.
Well, I guess, he was on Startup Founder Economics there, right? Where
he was very much. I think everything he and his partner, they were just funneling it back into the business.
Yeah, that is a struggle. Yeah. So
he was well past the point of. I think he describes it in one of his earlier books. What did he do? I think he was going to like Panera and eating the free bread. Something along those lines. I mean, that's not where he was when we met. So
he could have used that freedom dividend at that time. Yeah. One of the things I'm curious about, and this is actually a question from my wife, Wendy. I said, "Hey, I'm going to chat with Evelyn. Like, do you have any questions for her?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'd be curious. Like, what are the qualities that you've seen in Andrew that you think would translate into making him like a great president?"
The first thing I think is integrity, right? And I think I mentioned this before. He has this very strong moral compass that guides everything he does. He doesn't lie. I've never seen him do a single unscrupulous thing. He's always doing the right thing. In fact, he said something to me before, and I don't know if it was to me or if it's something that I heard him overhear him say, but he said, you need to always act as if someone is watching, basically. That should help. You hear of people who act one way in public and act another way in private. And he is someone where what you see is what you get, and he's just a very honest, genuine person. And in terms of he's obviously very smart. I think most people would acknowledge that he's very smart, but there's so many people who are smart in politics. I don't think that's what's most important. He has exceptional judgment when it comes to things that really matter. So filtering out the noise to get to the bottom of what's important here, what's at stake here, who are the stakeholders, who has the information, who are the experts, and he's flexible. He knows he doesn't have all the answers, but he's very willing to seek those answers out. And he's very good at that. If you look at his track record and look at the businesses, the nonprofits he's been able to build over time, even his campaign,
yeah,
it's a miracle, right? You look at it and he defies the odds because of his community and team building skills. And that's really what you want in leadership, right? You want someone who doesn't just rely on himself. I mean, he's principled and he has very good judgment, but he's exceptional at building teams, at putting the right people around him to succeed.
I'm not surprised. I mean, if you think about the impact that he's had with the name recognition that he started with, and the resources, sort of the war chest that he started with.
Right, nothing.
Yeah, right? It's incredible. It's incredible. And so what's it been like for you? Now, you recently have started going on the road and you've gone to some events. Like, what was that like? Was that like a surreal experience? What was that? What was it like?
So surreal. I really still do feel like I need to pinch myself. And it's not something I obviously ever imagined for myself or for him or our family. But at this point, I find it such a privilege to be able to have that platform, having so many people respond to his message. There was always a chance that it wouldn't resonate or that he wouldn't have enough resources to get his message out there to have it resonate. But it's very clear that people are paying attention. 1 million donations, $16.5 million raised this last quarter, outlasting very seasoned politicians in this race, and just having the best supporters anywhere. I mean, my favorite thing about being on the trail is meeting the Yang Gang. They're just the best group of people that you can ever imagine. The most creative, the smartest, the most passionate, the most loving of humanity. It warms my heart whenever I get to talk to the Yang Gang, and I just appreciate them so much.
It is an amazing group, and I was interviewing Liz Becker, this state Senate candidate, yesterday, and she was saying in Nevada how she loves talking to Yang Gang because they're all like tend to be super reasonable and positive.
Yes.
And I was curious, like, is that the crowd or is that the vibe that Andrew had? Like, why do you think Yang Gang is composed of such an interesting mix of people? Like, what do you think is driving that?
I think it's his humanity first message, right? It's they see it's almost like they see his heart. They know that he's running for something that's greater than himself. It's like they mirror his enthusiasm and his passion. So yeah, I think that we're all very much like kindred spirits.
When you first heard about the humanity first kind of theme, what was your reaction?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Humanity first and the freedom dividend. That is why I let him run for president. It's the reason why I gave him my blessing, because it is such a powerful message. It's something that we as a country are so desperately in need of right now, being so divided. And therefore, I was encouraging of him being out there. I don't know if encouraging is probably the wrong word. But supportive of him being out there to spread that message. And, it has just surpassed my wildest expectation.